One time for my guy, yeah. Hold it ground, hold me down, yeah. You know I shine, I'ma shine, yeah. My God, hold me down, I'ma shine, yeah. My God, watch me shine. Whoa, whoa, I'm gonna shine. Whoa, you know I gotta shine, watch me shine.
All right, y'all. It is time to shine. It is time to shine. I'm back once again with you all, fellow Jewels who are tuning in this evening. Welcome to the RTJ podcast and live stream show. I'm your host, King Jewels, Julian Smartrimple here. Excited for another very special edition that we are about to kick off as we go into the end of this month of October. Shout out to all of you all who have been rocking with us for season 3. It's definitely been a lot of stuff that we have been enhancing the show with from season 2 to season 3, you all. And so I'm excited to see what we have in store as we wind down with season 3 next month in November. But if you have been rocking with us for any length of time, or if this is your first time here, welcome again to the RTJ Lifestyle Show, which was created to spread inspiration to young professionals and millennial entrepreneurs who want to learn wisdom on how to shine brighter in their career or their businesses. And so shout out to all the young professionals out there. Shout out to all the entrepreneurs, the business owners, whether you're a king or a queen. We salute you for all that you are doing to shine and also to learn with us this season how to shine brighter in your career or your business. Thanks again to everyone who is tuning in tonight, either if you're watching the live stream or you're watching or listening to the replay. If you have any questions at any time of tonight's interview for my very special guests who we're about to bring up shortly, you can list them in the comment section right below, and it will pop up on the screen where you see the banner. No question is too outrageous or too small to ask. We accept all questions. We're all here to learn from my very special guest who's about to be dropping a ton of jewels this evening. And so we salute our very special guest that's about to be coming on shortly. If you are interested in being a guest on a future episode of RTJ, you can fill out the interest form that we are putting in the comment section right now. In order to be a part of the show, you have to fill out our interest form because we've had a ton of guests that are entrepreneurs and business professionals come on the show, but they got to go through the process to get vetted by our team. And so we appreciate you following the Jewels in 2021 with us. Again, we've had a ton of great entrepreneurs and business professionals come on the show that have blessed the show and the podcast this season. But we want you to stay in touch with us. Stay in touch with us throughout the rest of this year by also clicking the link that we're putting in the comment section to see what workshops, webinars, consulting and coaching and additional services we have for the rest of 2021 and also going into 2022. All you have to do is click the link that we're putting in the comment section to stay in touch with us throughout the rest of this year. But I'm excited again for my guests that I'm getting ready to bring on right now. Share this content with someone you know can benefit from the information that we are going to be dropping this evening to Run the Jewelz. I'm excited. Let us know in the comment section if you're tracking with us, where you're from. And also give us some jewels emojis if you're rocking with us this evening, because we're about to run a ton of jewels for episode 177. We are about to step into episode 177, which goes by the title of The Future of Manga from a Black Artist. the future of manga. If you don't know what manga is, you will be in for a treat this evening. This is definitely one of the creatives and cultural influencers that I've come across. He's even a mentee of mine. I used to mentor this young king when I worked. Shout out to James T. Anderson, Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Atlanta here in Marietta, where I actually went to as a youth. Literally before they were even titled Boys and Girls Clubs of Atlanta, I went when it was just Boys Club of Metro Atlanta, James T. Anderson. And so this king, he was raised in Marietta City Schools. I saw him when I was working as an education director at James T. Anderson. And literally, I saw that he had a gift. He had a gift for the arts. He had a gift not just for sketching, but he also had a gift for cartooning and even doing, I believe, some forms of abstract art. And so if you are someone who is an artist, you're someone who is a creative, you can definitely learn from my very special guest that I'm bringing on right now. That is a cartoonist and also a web content artist. He has self-published his own, literally his own manga. And he's even in the process right now of publishing his own young adult book for teenagers. And so he's all about putting his work out there for others to see and doing it self-published, the self-published way. But he's believed in himself literally since I've known this young king. And so I'm excited, you all, to bring my special guest, Mr. Horus Hotep, onto the screen. But definitely subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to catch us from previous episodes that we've done from season 3. You can subscribe at Julian Smartrimple on YouTube to catch our previous episodes. And also listen, I forgot to mention, to us on our podcast. We're on all podcast platforms. Just search for the Run the Jewelz podcast and you'll see our image that we have for our previous episodes from season 1 all the way to season 3 that we're releasing this season. And so without further ado, I want to introduce you to my very special VIP guest this evening, Mr. Horus Hotep. Horus, how you feeling this evening, King?
Hey, I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Well, what we always allow our guests to do, we allow our guests, H, to let people know where you're originally from, where your hometown is. Also tell people where you currently are tuning in from tonight. And then let us know why is this an important subject for you to discuss with us this evening. So tell us why this is an important subject to you.
All right. Well, I'm Horus Hotep. It's Childeen. Yeah. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I am born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm residing here right now. So yeah, still haven't left yet. And it's pretty cool. A manga artist. A manga artist is a Japanese artist or artist who illustrates in the Japanese illustration. They've been around since 1980s, I want to say. They would have been around longer. I could be wrong, but nothing was aired until like 96, I believe, with a few super old retro animations like Astro Boy, I believe, and Gigantor. That's one of them, I believe, because it was super, super old. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely going to be getting a lesson from you, King Horus, this evening. For those that are just tuning in, or if you're catching the replay, I'm here with my very special guest, Mr. Horus Hotep, who is a cartoonist and also a web content artist that is going to be talking to us about how he got in to being a cartoonist and also even publishing his self-published manga, and even is in the process right now of publishing his self-published young adult, his young adult novel for teens. And so shout out to those who are rocking with us Shout out to those in the comment section. Shout out to Delta. Shout out to Auntie Carol. Shout out to all of those who are with us on either YouTube or Facebook this evening for episode 177. If you have any questions for my very special guest, Horus Hotep, feel free to put any questions you have for him in the comment section. No question, again, is too outrageous or too small. We want to make sure that if you have any questions for Horus, that we get them answered shortly. And so you can list any questions that you may have for him in the comment section. But back to you, H. Like, talk to them who are listening, our fellow Jewels. Like, how did you get into the arts? Did you get introduced by someone that was nice with their own penmanship or their own artist abilities, or did you get self-taught? Like, how did you get into the arts?
So my father actually is an artist. From what I remember, he would tell me as much as he could, even if I couldn't understand it, because like he'd been telling me stuff since I was like, I don't know, 7, 8, yeah. And he told me to sign my work, to always sign my work. And another thing that got me into art even more was Adventure Time, actually. I like to watch TV shows with my brother. I was in New York at the time. Yeah, I was with a family from my mom's side, and she would just put me in front of the TV, me and my brother, and we just watch Adventure Time. So yeah, I was so intrigued and just so awestruck by the show. Just all the little funny moments, the really aesthetic moments, the vibe to the entire show is just crazy. That really just has you think and just be really imaginative. And from my inspiration from Adventure Time, it just took off into its own direction. When I was 16, I went to Texas with my mom and my brother. It was a harsh time at the moment, so my nose and eyes were always just down looking at pencil and paper, just drawing up something creative, trying to pass the time. And one day I just decided to make my own character, and it was this character named Sin, who's in this comic book I have right now. So yeah, it's crazy. And it's been 4 years later, from just one character to 4 to 16 to like more than I can count at the moment, because it's just so many people. Yeah, it's crazy how I think it's crazy how you can really just draw one thing and it can get your mind really going, if that makes any sense. Like, I can draw a star or a planet, and then I just got to fill the rest of the paper up with something else. It's crazy.
Yeah, King, you dropping a whole bunch of cents right now. So shout out to those that are rocking with us for the future of manga from a Black artist perspective. We are here locked and loaded with one of my mentees and also a fellow creative and artist in his own right, Horus Hotep, who is talking to you all about his creative process of starting his own self-published manga, and is in the process right now of getting a self-published young adult piece of literature out to the general public. And so if you have any questions, again, for my very special guest, Mr. Horus Hotep, you can list them in the comment section, and we'll get to them shortly. It will come up right below in the comments that we can have Horus answer any questions that you may have for him. This is an interactive show. I'm just the lovely host. And so we want to hear from anyone in the audience if you have any questions about manga, if you have any questions about self-publishing, or if you even have any pieces of inspiration that you want to give Horus. Horus, I forgot to mention, let them know how old you are, King, because I know
Oh
you are
yes. I am
a young
20
king.
years old. Yeah.
He's 20. He's 20 years old, y'all. He's
Man.
those who are listening on the podcast. He's
Imagine.
still up and coming, but he's also definitely a young king in training. And so I remember when I came across Horus as an adult
Oh man.
recently this summer. I forgot to give a shout out to Mama Dukes, my mom, Mama Smart. She was literally at one of the local Walgreens that are here in Marietta, and Horus was working at the Walgreens, and he came across one of the pictures that she was developing from the photo booth at Walgreens, and Horus saw my picture with my mom in it, and he asked my mom, "Do you know Mr.
Yeah.
Smart?" He was like, "That's Mr. Smart." And then my mom was like, "Of course I know him. That's my son." And so it's crazy how literally in Atlanta there's 6 degrees of separation between everyone that you may know or that knows you or that you may know through another individual, because Atlanta is a very large metropolitan city, but it's very small, especially in the arts and the education space. And so
Yeah, you
shout
want
out.
to know everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And so shout out to the 6 degrees of separation when it comes to knowing someone through another individual, and 6 people is all you need to get to that right person. But Horace, talk to us, man. I know you said that dad inspired you to get into the art. He told you to always sign your work. But how did you start getting the confidence to actually start respecting your craft? Like how did you
Man.
know that you were nice with it, that you were sweet with it, that people would tell you like, "Oh, this is dope, like this art is fire." Like how did you get your confidence level up when you were growing up in Marietta City schools doing art?
All right. Well, growing up, I was kind of just an introvert. I didn't really like talking to a lot of people. If people talked to me, I guess I would talk back. But yeah, I was always trying to do something, because sitting there for hours doing nothing or just trying to focus on the work that the teacher was trying to teach us was not it. So I would just draw or make origami. But as time progressed, I kind of just kept getting in that zone of making my own little world and just drawing like my characters and events of them going through things and them going through what is it called? An evolution. I gained the strength after I saw the ending of Adventure Time. I was just like, wow, that's crazy how they ended that. That was insane. And I also saw the ending of Adventure Time when they dropped the HBO Max version of it. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I saw that. Man, that was crazy. It was it was such an innovative thing for the characters we all grew up with change along with you, especially if you were like the same age as Finn and Jake, like 12 or 14 at the time.
Yeah,
To see him turn, what, 17, and then 24, and then he's like an old man. And yeah, it's wild. That was such an next level thing I haven't seen a show do. And I was like, man, I really want to do something like that. I really would just want to draw my characters just living their lives and, just, yeah, evolving. And
yeah.
you can say that again?
No, keep going, keep going. I'm just
Oh,
agreeing with you.
oh yeah. So, yeah, after I saw that, I was just like, man, I gotta keep working on this. And then after I saw Adventure Time, I was growing up more, started indulging in anime. I mean, I indulged in anime when I was younger, but not as much as I used to now. So when I was like, what, 17, I started getting more into anime, and my most favorite anime at the moment right now is Berserk. It's such a gritty, dark fantasy manga-esque story, or fantasy-esque story, where uh, this mercenary, he joins a group called the Band of the Hawk, and you just see them work together, befriend one another, and then you see just them fighting. You see them change throughout the entire story. At the moment, the writer and artist of the manga is deceased at the moment. Yeah, he passed away, but he really inspired me to keep going and continue doing what I like to do. And I guess what other people would want to see in like a window of another reality, kind of, when I'm drawing. So I try and put as much detail into it as possible. But while I was looking at the manga panels of Kentaro Miura, that's the name of the manga artist. Yeah, Kentaro Miura. I saw like the realism in his work, and I saw like what you can really make a picture. It's more than just, you know, a person here and a person there. It's like the angle, just the tone, the shadows, and like the depth in their face. It's just when you read the manga in his work, you can really see it all. And you can also see that in Adventure Time and some other shows, but the way Kentaro Miura did was just crazy. It was next level. And I hope maybe one day my work can maybe touch that level. I'm not going to say it's anywhere near it because I can definitely improve. There's always room for improvement. Yeah. It's, yeah.
Yeah, keep going, King. You was dropping so many.
It's lagging on.
Yeah, keep going, King. You was dropping so many jewels, man. It kicked me out of the session, man. That means that Horus is coming not to play tonight. I got kicked out of my own show, man. So shout out to you, King. You dropping a ton of jewels this evening. But what part did you leave off on? I didn't hear any of the last part that you were just answering, man. What were you
say that one more time? You started glitching out.
No, I said what was the last part you left off on? Because I didn't hear anything. It kicked me out when you were dropping too many jewels on them.
Oh no. Oh crap. That's crazy. I was saying how Kentaro Miura is one of my favorite artists, and the way he illustrated a lot of things and the way he did his work, because he was a writer and he was an artist. So for him to put out so much content and story and to be so almost perfect at it was just crazy. It really inspired me. He's something I really aim to be or be better than one day.
Absolutely. I know you had a question coming in for you too, H. Delta, she asked, it was great to see a young king unshamedly embrace their true passions. She asked, how have you encountered any discrimination since manga is traditionally accepted in Japanese culture by Japanese people? So what are your thoughts on that, H? Have you encountered any discrimination since you're a black man living manga, which is traditionally a Japanese cultural norm?
I have not that I know of. I don't, not that I know of. I mean, I guess the most someone will say is they don't really watch anime or know what manga is, but
yeah,
I mean, everybody has their own preferences. Yeah.
Yeah, stay right there with that piece too, because I know you are, of course, a black man, a black king. Like, do you see any, absolutely. Do you see any similarities when it comes to like Japanese culture and African culture it comes to manga or anime? Like, do you see any similarities between like the characters, between the way that the plot are, or even some of the abilities of the characters? Do you see?
I do see some similarities. I know that the Black community, when they watch anime, when they read manga, I know that they see their own stories, and when they try and illustrate, I know for a fact some people would go to like Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Bleach, like those are just some off the top of my head, but those are some of the shows that people would run to. And when I was growing up, I watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z. That was my everything. But as I got older, I started like understanding what an animator is and what a manga artist is and what they do when they're doing their work. Like, some people will hire some artists to do action scenes only, or color scenes only, or inking. And sometimes it's not as consistent, but I mean, when you really look at an animation, I guess try and sit there and just really think about what's going on, like really what's going on behind the scenes, every framework. Like, take a show like Violet Evergarden. That was a very, very high quality animated anime. Yeah, it was I think it was 60 frames per second. I could be wrong, but that's, what is that? It's more than, I'm not going to do the math on that right now, but it's a lot of pictures. But it's 60 frames, 60 pictures every second. So think about that. Whenever you're watching a show or animation, think of all the seconds people are putting in there. Okay.
Yeah, that's good right there, man. That's definitely good right there. When it comes to what are some of your favorite ones currently right now? When it comes to anime, and then like where do you see whether it's anime or even mangas progressing? Like, where do you see it going now that the technology has improved since when you were growing up on it, watching it, versus right now?
Definitely. So the way manga, and actually my favorite, so I already told you my favorite manga and my favorite anime was Berserk. I do have a lot of other shows I watch. I guess my top favorite right now is gonna be Berserk. Crap, let me pull up some. Okay.
Yeah, you got to teach the people. You got to teach the people tonight, H.
Hello, hello. Kenobi Will. Yes. So yeah, my favorite shows are Berserk, Dragon Ball Super. Dang, I really want to say, oh yeah, Soul Eater. Man, can't forget Soul Eater. That was next level stuff. Beyblade, but I don't even know if it's really considered an anime because it was an American animation.
Right.
But yeah,
No,
those are some of my top favorites.
That's cool right there, man. And I know we definitely gonna even break down. And I forgot listening or that are watching the replay, they got to know what your name means and the significance of your name. And so right after we come back from this quick commercial break to let people know who are watching and listening with us on the podcast. Each and every episode, we have a VIP sponsor for season 3 that we highlight for sponsoring our episodes that we've been doing. And so at the screen, as we put up who our VIP sponsor is for tonight's episode. And so I'm about to get ready to bring in our VIP sponsor for episode 177. If you want to be a future sponsor on the podcast, you can also click the link that I'm about to drop in the comment section to see how you can be a part of our season 3 sponsorships. And shout out to all of those who have already been a part of season 3 and being sponsors on the show. We could not make this show a success without you all. And so let's all take a look and see who our VIP sponsor is for tonight. So again, shout out to our VIP sponsor for tonight's episode. Our VIP sponsor for episode 177 comes from the Smart Jewelz Institute. You can follow the Smart Jewelz Institute by clicking the link that we're putting in the comment section, or you can go to www.smartjewelz enterprises.org to sign up for the fall semester open enrollment. They have classes that are all around personal development, financial education, financial freedom, and most importantly, health and wellness. And so if you are an entrepreneur or even a young professional that is looking to upgrade your career or to elevate your business and to learn from other young professionals, educators, and business owners about their passion, their career field, and their successes. You can also learn from those millennial entrepreneurs that we highlight on the show. And so all you got to do is click the link in Smart Jewelz Institute to sign up for 60% off discounts, I believe, offering right now until November. And so click the link to sign up for Smart Jewelz Institute. But back to you, Horus. We want to make sure that we highlighted our VIP sponsor, man. Like, talk to us about how is your creative process? Every artist that I've talked to always has a creative process that they go through in order to get their pieces, their work to the level of your standard of excellence that you see fit, not to someone else's. And so, like, what is your creative process, H, that you go through in order to get your art to be satisfied by you as the producer?
All right, well, my creative process is when I first open up my canvas, I like to add some layers first. I like to add a good bit of layers because I want to change the color of the canvas. I feel like for my mind, like growing up, I've had an ADD, so it was very difficult for me to stay focused on some things. And when I did want to focus on some things, I would just kind of just change the color of the page or draw on it, make it somewhat more interesting to gravitate my attention towards the page, if that makes sense. So what I would do is I would add some layers, change the color, play with the X. And after that, I would kind of just go on Instagram or Google, depending on how I'm feeling or what music I'm listening to. That also plays a big role on what I'm producing. So when I'm going through IG or Google, I'll just type in like fall aesthetic or whatever pops up on IG art wise. I'll look at that. Sometimes I like to go back to manga pages like My Hero or Berserk or Chainsaw Man, and I'll get some anatomy tips while I'm looking at the page or some of the pictures I'm seeing. After that, I'll kind of see my character. I'll see the setting or whatever I'm trying to draw, and I see them posing as whatever picture I'm looking at. And after that, I'll just play with that pose. I'll draw it out. I'll erase it, make some what's the word? Make some of the body parts move around a little bit while I'm erasing it. Another thing I like to do is I like to use shapes, sizes, and like distorted cones, distorted pyramids. I'll use those to draw horns, wings, arms, muscles. Also, another good thing is I recommend artists to practice drawing your shapes. Just one page, just like draw some triangles, draw some pyramids, but put some perspective on them. Like draw a pyramid here, then draw a pyramid closer. And do that with cones, cubes, spheres. Do that with as much things as you possibly can. After that, after like X amount of days, when you come to draw a guy like holding a car, you'll look at that and you'll be like, wow, that looks kind of like him holding a cone or a cylinder or something like that. And you'll kind of see the shapes pop out of characters and objects once you look at them more. So that's another good tip I'd like to say. And I didn't answer the other question. How do I see the future of manga and webcomics going off with the technology we have today? I see that we have VR, we have 8K, we probably have 10K, if I'm being honest. We have CGI, we've got 2D animators. It's all coming together because of all the content that's been produced up until now. That's what we've been referencing as artists, as people who want to create something new. That's what we have to reference. So I'd say it's going in the right direction. It's getting better and better. Some things, some people think will be garbage because it's something they've never seen before or never pulled off in the sense that they would like. But I would say just give it time, just don't judge a book by its cover. It's only been 20 years. So give it another 20 years. You're going to see some pretty good animation, CGI, all that. And it's been spreading throughout movies, TV shows. You can see it in a lot of things via it being 2D animation or 3D animation or CGI. Like look at Venom or Infinity War. That was some pretty lit stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right on par with that, King. No, I was just saying you're right on par with that. I know it's a ton of advancements that have happened with CGI and literally all of the cartoons that are being made into motion pictures. And so I know you did have a question coming in right before the commercial break for our sponsor, and then even right now. I know my auntie Carol wanted to know, she said, does Horace find drawing therapeutic? And so do you find doing drawing therapeutic, H? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on drawing, if drawing's therapeutic for me, is sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Like, I don't like to be chained to one picture for long because I'll start to lose interest. Other times I'll be able to finish a picture in like 30 minutes. It'll look like it took me 5 hours, but sometimes it'll just come out like a wave. Yeah, I guess you could say yes and no.
Yeah, that's a good point. Does it even, as a follow-up with that, like help with your process, like you said, of being able to focus in? Because I remember seeing you in the club, like if you weren't feeling something, you may just have like your sketch pad and just go in the cut somewhere, and then basically just get yourself back refocused. So did that ever help with you with school, for any parents that may have students that were just like you, that may not necessarily need any medication or anything like that, but just may need to find a resource such as sketching, such as drawing, such as painting, to just calm them down and refocus them? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I'd say that yes, it is something that people could use, and something I've used personally in the past, and I can see myself in the future using it. I'd say I've done it recently, as like this week. Like, I've just sit here and draw every day, but throughout these days, you know, you're going to be feeling different every single day. So throughout one of these days, at least 3 of these days, I'm going to be really deep into my thoughts and into just trying to create something new. So I'll just draw something simple like a circle or an eye or a planet, something small. And then, like I said before, after that, after you finish this one tiny thing, it'll just take off.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
good. That's good right there, man. And I know for those that may or may not know your name, your government name, we know you have your artist and your stage name, but we know your government name is Horus Hotep. And so let us know. I know that was one of the first things I asked you when I met you and your brother. Like, do y'all know what your name means? And also, do you know like the power behind both of y'all's names, but even your name specifically? Like, let people know the significance of your name and also what it means.
Of course. So my name is it means the protector, god of the sky. In Egypt, Horus was the god of the sky, and he protected the land throughout. It's supposed to bring protection amongst whomever has like the seal, like the Ankh or the Eye of Horus. You can go back in mythology and see more if you go on Google. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So basically, for those that are listening on the replay or the podcast, this young king is named after an Egyptian god, like literally one of the top 3 most recognized Egyptian gods. And so I wanted to little g, of course, little g Egyptian gods, but we definitely had exchanges when I first met Horus, because I said, if you got a name like Horus Hotep, especially with the last name Hotep, you got to be able to shine. You can't be on the sidelines. You got to be in the forefront. you got to be putting in excellence in what you do, and also being at the forefront of your craft. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you about, H, as we get ready to wind down shortly. Like, what are some of your goals and some of your dreams that you still want to accomplish? I know you're only 20 years of age, but you're also a bright star that is in training on the come up, and you're also a young king. Like, talk to the audience just so that they can see, like, what are some of your dreams and some of your goals that you still want to accomplish, and even talk to the audience about what particular goals that you set for yourself in high school or even going into adulthood have you already accomplished.
All right. Well, growing up in, well, I want to say in high school, my goal, my biggest dream was to have my own comic book. Just hold it, look through it front and back. You know, it's finished, it's professional, it's done. And I worked on it for about 2 years. And when I was done, man, I was tired. I was so tired. But I was so happy when I got to hold those 25 copies in my hand. I was extremely happy. And taking off, it's changed. Like, my new goal now is to get my work possibly animated to reach at least 20K viewers and subscribers or followers. So that's what my goal is for right now. And maybe one day it will get animated. Yeah, because I think the story I have to tell is pretty cool. I think you guys will enjoy it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that, King. And talk to us about, because goals and dreams are big, but I know one of your goals you said you already were able to accomplish, which was starting to create and also publish your first manga, And so I'm about to put it on the screen, but walk us through, H, how you were able to have your first manga self-published, and what was the process that you went about getting that published.
The process, man, it was tiring. I had to figure out how to use a page, because at the time I didn't even know what digital drawing was. Like, yeah, at the time I didn't know what digital drawing was, so I kind of had to train myself. And I was in Texas when Time for Space was created. That's the name of it was Time for Space, but now it's Outrun Time for Space. But one of the artists that helped me figure out how to just make a page was David Revoy. Yeah. He's a French artist. He has a Patreon. So shout out to David Revoy. Yeah. He taught me how to use layers, how to sketch properly, how to use my framework. And after about a year of looking at him do things, I kind of just use my own way. And I'm evolving ever more throughout making more comic books and making more illustrations. Yeah. Wait a second. Is this still?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying stay with that point right there too, man. Like, talk to us about the cover. Like, how did you get to the cover of this manga? Like, also, how much money did you invest in this? We talk about these things on the show. Like, how did you get to make this as your final cover? Because I know you probably had different versions of the cover, and also talk to us about how much did you finance this project?
I want to say I spent hundreds of dollars just throughout the 4 years. I spent hundreds of dollars to like get the proper equipment, to get a new computer, to get the proper software, to actually learn a few things and to get a few brush kits. Like I had to get a new monitor, PC. I had to get a tablet to draw on. The first book that ever came out was not actually that big. It was a lot bigger. And his head, all the characters' heads, it looked different. It looked completely different. Um, it was like 12 different covers. There was actually 3 more books that came out before that actual final product. Um, that was the 2020 version of the cover. And I chose that because one day, like I said, when I was just in my zone or in that therapeutic feeling, I just drew the character and I drew the background. On the right, you can see the group of people, the group of characters. That was a sketch. And I was like, wow, this looks phenomenal. This looks next level. And I just, I sat on it actually. 2019, I was like, you know what? I'm going to draw it, but I'm not actually going to do anything to it. So I did that. But then after coming back to it, I was like, man, this looks so good. I just got to finish it. So I did that. And I was like, you know what? I can't just stop here. I did some sketches for like a comic book, you could say, and it just took off from there. And within 8 months, 9 months, that book was done. It took a long time. I had to also use, also, I recommend anybody who's learning how to draw comic books, I recommend you get Krita. It's spelled Krita. It's free, and that's what I use to this day to add fonts, to draw, to add effects to anything. Um, and the inspiration behind the cover as well is Adventure Time, really. The final season, when I saw the title, I forgot what month it was when I saw it, but I saw the final title for that. And I was like, man, I gotta draw something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's major. That's major right there, man. When it comes to investing in yourself, King, we already know that that's something that a lot of people just talk about doing, but you put your money where your mouth is. I know in the comment section, they were giving you some encouragement, some big ups. Delta said that's dope. Definitely Kenobi said, I think this is in Japanese. You may know.
Sugoi. Sugoi, sugoi. Yes. Oh man, it is frozen.
What you may.
All right, well, wait. Thank you, Andrea McKenzie. Thank you very much. I'm gonna keep going. It's pretty wild. I can't really hear anything at the moment, but yes. Why isn't this working? Hello? Oh man. Wait a second.
Yeah, Horace, keep going, man. I know StreamYard cut me out. We're gonna get some of the final jewels. H, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I know it tried to kick me off again. You know how technology is dropping too many
Oh
jewels
man. Yes.
audience, but we're gonna wind down in 1 second, but like talk to us really quick what I was saying, boot it out again. Shout out to StreamYard, but like talk to us about like why do you think a lot of artists are wanting to give up before able to see the fruit of their success, especially when it comes to in the work, putting in the finances, putting in the dedication, like Auntie Carol said. Like, why think a lot of young artists, especially that are your age or even younger, tend to give up before they see the fruit?
I would say it's because they're not patient enough. And believe me, I 100% agree. It takes way too long. However, if you just really sit there and just take your time, like really be super, super in the zone. Forget about time, actually. Just think of only the paper and the image in your head and you trying to put it on that piece of paper as detailed and as vivid as possible. And once you start, erasing that line between like how long it takes and, you know, what time it is, you'll start to see some really incredible things. Like I was telling some of my coworkers, if you spend at least 30 minutes just writing or just sketching up something, via it being a character or literally just a symbol, an eye, a hand, feet, whatever it is, just spend a little time. Take your time. You know, you'll actually start to see something crazy and really beautiful. And even if you don't like it, save it for later because if you draw that same thing later, like 5 years from now, you can see the difference in your work and the difference in your mindset and like how you've changed as an artist, how you've evolved.
Yeah, no, you're right with that, man. Because a lot of artists and a lot of entrepreneurs can give up before they're able to really reach the level of success that they're dreaming about. And so we talk about that a lot on the show, H. But I know we've wound down for our interview today, and we've reached the session ending with all the
Sure.
glitches, with all the mishaps that we had. We made it to our final jewel segment of the meeting where we allow you, H, to leave a final jewel of wisdom with the audience. We talked about your creative process and being inspired to do art. We talked about the history and the significance of your name. We talked about how you self-published your manga, and you're in the process right now of self-publishing a young piece of literature. Like, what would be your final jewel of wisdom that you want to leave the audience before you get out of here for the evening?
I would say to really don't don't give up on your dream too early, especially before you got to see it take off and really become something. So just take your time. Take your time, and that's it.
It's good wisdom, right? Audience, every time, and to not give up because a lot of people before they strike gold, or they strike oil, or before they get to the jewels that are all the way deep in the. And
Okay.
so hey, like, follow up with you if they want to support you for any of your upcoming projects that you're working on. You also do commission work and talk to the audience or the podcast VIP jewels about how they can get some work commissioned from you. Let people in touch with you.
Yes. If you have any questions, if you want to commission me, if you want any exclusive pieces, if you want to buy specific pieces from me, just DM me on my IG, which is ITZCHILLBEAN. It's children. And I'm also going to be uploading a webtoon this week. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know it's been a pleasure serving with you, King, this evening. We still press through. A quick over you before we let you go to enjoy the rest of your evening. And so I'm gonna say a quick prayer.
Yes,
I,
sir.
I just want to thank you for allowing Horus to come on the show and to also just be able to bless us with his process, also with his and being vulnerable to let people know that they too can follow after their passions and they too can follow after their dreams. So there should be no excuse to not literally go after your calling and go after your purpose. And so we thank you for the gifts that you inside of him, and also he is even perfecting before you to return back to you, Father. We thank you for those that he inspired, his friends and his family, and even those that just may be supporters or fans of his work that he doesn't even know, even his peers, in his age group. We thank you for his persistence at continuing to chase after his dreams and to protect his talents. And we pray you bless him with new clients, bless him with new opportunities to even work with different companies and also different organizations here and outside of the state of Georgia. We pray that he will believe in himself enough to bet on himself even more by even more pieces, by working with more businessmen and women that he didn't even think of working with. And we just thank you for him and also his creating him for this meaning and all his existence. I love you, Father. I praise you and I honor you. And it's in Yahuwah's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, H. It's just what you let people know where can they follow you? How can they get in touch with you after today before we let you go, man?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, which is ITZCHILLBEAN. It's children. Yeah. I accept DMs, commissions. You know, if you have a question, just hit me. I'll do my best to respond back. Yeah.
All right, King. All right. Pleasure serving with you, man. We gonna talk soon.
Yes,
Definitely
sir.
enjoy the rest of your week, bro. And we'll talk soon. Man.
You as
Peace.
well.
All right, man. Be safe. All right, Jewels for thought. You saw literally we started off the meeting straight, but the internet was not allowing us to be great this evening. But nevertheless, we keep backups. We always got to make sure we have plan B. And so some of my final jewels for thought is to never just rely on one source, just rely on one product, one income. You always have to have a plan B. You heard from Horus. He literally put in not just the time and the patience, but he also had to put in the finances. And so that means he was working a job in order to put towards his dreams and also his talents and skill set. And so a lot of people make a lot of complaints and excuses as to why they in job, why they can't afford to go after their passion or their purpose, and why this and why they can't do things versus why they're choosing not to do it. And so there's always a way where there's a will. If you put your money where your mouth is, your dreams and also your goals and so this is the time to not be afraid, to not be fearful, to not play it safe when it comes to your dreams and when it comes to your passion. You never know when it's going to be your last day. You never know who may be watching you that may need to see you make it in order to give them permission, motivation to also go after their dreams and to also go after their goals. And so you never take for granted who is watching you. There's tons of people that what we do on social media, but there's also tons of family members and friends and even co-workers or colleagues that watch us in real life. And so media fool you. You can see literally up close and personal those who are about their business, those who are about their craft, those who are about their work up close. You see them and you see their progress. You see them producing just like Horus did. He's producing products that he dreamed about and that he even spoke to me about when I was at the age of 12, 13. I knew this king when he was still coming out of middle school, going into high school. And now he's a 20-year-old self-published, and he's also a self-published entrepreneur. And so this is something that you can't make up. You never take for granted how you are impression on youth. You never can take for granted how you're able to make an impression on those who are younger than you, because you never know how those seeds are going to large living plants and living adults. And so don't look down on the youth. Don't talk bad about the youth that are up and coming. If you don't like something that they're doing, or if you don't like the way that things are headed, talk to them, pull them aside, educate them, teach them. Don't just talk down to them. Don't just talk about them. Get involved in someone that is a youth's life. Mentoring, whether it's coaching, whether it's leading them. There's tons of programs. I told you that I worked with Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Atlanta, but I'm also there. I work with Big Brothers and Sisters of Metro Atlanta. And even outside of that, in the education system, I'm working currently right now as a fourth grade teacher in Cobb County schools, but I'm always looking to see what youth I can sow into, and also with youth, what youth I can serve and which youth I can inspire. And because there's tons of adults that are giving up on our youth, there's tons of adults that are continuing to talk down to our youth. And so if you are one of those that are not in a productive way and also into a positive, uplifting way, don't get mad at when those thorns come back literally to choke. Bushes with those thorns come back to choke those who are older and also those even millennials who are my age. Because if you're not those seeds, if you're not grooming and taking care of those seeds, then those seeds can turn to weeds, and they can turn to weeds that choke the life out of other plants, things that are around it. And so for those who are into gardening or horticulture, you know how annoying and also how just wild in your garden if you don't literally pull them out from the roots. And so we got to get back to our roots, you all. We got to get back to taking care of our communities and also taking care of, because those are the roots that are going to grow in the concrete and not always from the soil. You got to be able to go and literally work with those youth that are from the. And so those are my jewels for thought. Definitely make sure that you are going back and watching the replay. We're going to try to edit any of the technical glitches at podcasts. But you can listen to the podcast on all podcast platforms. Just search for the Run the Jewelz podcast to see what episodes, season 1 all the way leading up to now season 3 that we're on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Julian Smartrimple, to see some of season 3's recent podcasts. And then last but not least, if you've been blessed, by tonight's very special episode with one of my mentees, Horus Hotep, who is also a web content artist, sow a seed with us. No seed is too large or too small. We want those who are able to benefit from what you're getting for free each and every week to partner with us in some capacity, whether you're sharing the content, whether you're commenting on our content, or even to the next level in becoming a sponsor or becoming a donor with us. There's 3 ways to sow. You can sow via Cash App at $SMART, SMARTGEWELZ, or you can Venmo us at SMART, SMARTJEWELZ Enterprises, EERPRISES, or you can become a monthly Patreon with us. We just started our monthly Patreon account that I'm also going to put in the content. But no seed, again, is too small or too large. And we thank all of those names that you see at the bottom of the screen that have either been a VIP sponsor or a VIP for season 3. We could not have made this show a success without you. And so we thank you all for rocking with us for season 3, and also for being with our show, because we could not and cannot make the show a success or reality without your help, and also without your donation. And so thanks again to those who have partnered with us. We cannot put all the names on the scroller at the bottom, but we just wanted to show some love to those VIP donors and those VIP sponsors that have been with us throughout the show. And so those are all of my final jewels for thought. Definitely and serve some of the youth in some capacity. Go out and serve some of that need help, that may need some attention, because there's always there that needs. There's always someone out there that needs help, you all. And so you want to make sure. I had to take it off mute real quick. I'm sorry, but you want to make sure that you're tuning in next week. I can't show the PowerPoint right now because I'm on my cell phone. But make sure you're tuning in next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We have another one of my mentees that's going to be talking about homeschooling and how homeschooling has benefited him versus being in the public school setting or a private school setting, but that he is a pride product and a prime product being homeschooled. And you won't want to miss out for those parents who are wanting to know more about homeschooling, especially the way that things are going with the society, with mandates, with the schools going virtual. You want to have your options open, especially for those parents who have kids that are in elementary school. So you won't want to miss next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday with my very special guest, one of my other young kings that are coming. But shout out to all of those who tuned in this evening. Share this content with someone you know that can benefit from it. Definitely like and to us on all podcast platforms to see how you can stay in touch with us throughout the rest of 2021. And also, again, find that you mentor, find the youth that you can serve. I'm a youth advocate, I'm an educator, and also someone that loves to work youth. So don't be on the sidelines. Our youth need to see faces that look like myself, that look like you, and also that are willing to share their wisdom that need it. And so don't be on the sidelines this year. Don't be on the sidelines going into 2022. Our youth need, they need to see lights within you, myself, and others in order to shine. And so make sure you're taking care of your health and your immune system to shine bright like the bright diamond that you're created to. God has given you the light. He's given you the light for it. And so we'll see you all next week. Until we meet again. Peace.